do the branding. Good afternoon, everybody. Molweni nonke. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Goeiemiddag. I'm Faiez, and welcome everybody. This is a new installment of Know Your Candidate, and today I'm very fortunate to have some young, dynamic comrades that will be representing us as the African National Congress in their respective wards. I want to introduce Comrade Busisiwe Nxumalo, who's our ward candidate for Ward 58 and 59, and Comrade Insaaf Isaacs, who's our ward candidate for 73. Immediately, I want to just introduce comrades. Feel relaxed. Welcome. I know it's lunchtime, and there's a tradition on the Cape Flats that nothing is going to separate them, our people, between lunchtime and their food. But this is recorded, so I'm sure comrades will tune in. Just welcome. We're going to have a good discussion, and our key thing here is to also share the person and also what our candidates are doing for our constituency. So I'm going to start with you, Busisiwe, just to introduce yourself to the electorate, the voters. Tell us a bit about yourself, your background, and also what equips you, and why is the organization giving you the opportunity to be a candidate for our area. Busisiwe?
Thank you very much, Comrade Faiez. If you've heard, my name is Busisiwe Nxumalo. I am standing for Ward 58 and 59. I am a former SASCO BEC member. I'm also a former SRC member. I've done 2 terms on both. I've grown and learned in the organization, and it's really assisted me in helping students. I'm also the deputy chairperson of the ANC Gabby Shapira branch. And putting me on the election ballot, being a young person, I'm going to be able to speak to the needs of the people in my constituency, because the area that I'm living in is very much centered around students. And given my previous experience of being a student leader, I'm going to be able to deliver on the policies and plans. Thank you.
Thank you. Insaaf?
Greetings, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much, Comrade Faiez, for this ingenious way of reaffirming the comrades who will be caretakers of the community now and after the elections. My name is Insaaf Isaacs, fondly known as Diana. I'm, like Busisiwe, also a proud product of the South African Congress of Students. I was deployed as a representative of SASCO onto student leadership positions. I'm the former president of the UCT SRC. Before then, I was also serving as an executive member, taking care of educational matters, which I am extremely passionate about. I've led regionally as a member of the African National Congress Youth League out in the Rylands area. I've led provincially as an additional member of the South African Congress of Students. I've led nationally as well as the Deputy Secretary General of the South African Union of Students, as an executive member of the Muslim Students Association Union, and also in other structures as well. And I think the experience that I've had in student leadership has groomed me to be able to learn policy and ensure that issues that are all the small are issues that are prioritized.
Thank you. Thank you. You broke up a bit there. Comrades, what I'm going to ask is if you can just project your voices, and also if you can keep the answers a bit short. So for those that don't know your area, again, Insaaf, let's start with you. Where is Ward 73? What are the suburbs that they cover, and what are the issues that you're picking up as you engage with voters?
So the Ward 73 area includes the Meadow Ridge area, Berkfleet, Deep River, and bits of Plumstead and Lower Constantia or Upper Wynberg. There are several schools in the area: Norman Inshelwood, South Peninsula, a Westcott Primary School, as well as Timer Hall. And what I've noticed in these areas is that there are lots of senior citizens living there. And these senior citizens want to be able to move about with peace of mind. They want to be able to be wheeled around in their wheelchairs without fear. They want to be able to walk their dogs without fear. And so caring for the environment is extremely important in Ward 73. Making sure that the street lights are there is extremely important in Ward 73. And besides safety and security and making sure that streets are lit and that people are safe, people also have a very strong appreciation for healthy active lifestyle. And so making sure that the facilities like the parks are well maintained is vitally important. And beyond that, to ensure that the libraries are well maintained so that the programs that have been happening there, the sports activities that are happening there have proper facilities to be able to host community activities in.
Okay. Busisiwe, share with us your area. Just unmute yourself, Comrade Busisiwe.
Sorry about that. The first area of mine that covers is the Newlands, it's Rondebosch and the Rosebank area, as well as Claremont. The second area then goes from a little bit into Observatory, Mowbray, and Rosebank as well. They overlap. So many of the first priority in the issue here is safety and security. It's actually a very huge issue. The area has lots of students and there's lots of petty crime that happens. So security does become a huge issue, especially for students who are studying late at night, who tend to walk home back from the library, and if the jammy isn't coming on time. Safety is a huge issue. So that's one of the main priorities, that we need to work together with the already existing security system that happens here, in terms of also asking the police to do more roundup checks, especially at night when students are going to get food or walking back from the library. I also want to ensure that the city's policies and plans is inclusive of everyone. Usually what happens is that in the city, the policies and plans are only delivered to a few people and not everyone. So by having myself as a young representative in the city, I'm going to be able to deliver on that. Another key area issue is that everyone needs to have their bases on an equal need, and that is what I'm going to ensure. And also ensuring that young people are part of the policies and plans of the city. Because what tends to happen is that the city will have plans and policies that don't include young people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, both of you. So let me speak to some of the issues you've raised: safety and security, basic services, security has been raised. As the ANC, we've had a deliberate policy of intergenerational mix and having in all our candidate selection 25% of our young, because our electorate is young, and you represent, both of you collectively and individually represent that youthful, that militant, that young voices coming through the organization. How does that help you? Yes, there's always been the complaint about the eldership and people not making space. And how will young people get experience if they're not getting the exposure? And how is this a campaign be for both of you? Let's start with you, Busisiwe.
Thank you very much. So this campaign has actually been very interesting, to say the least. I mean, yes, we do have a right to complain about eldership, but I also fundamentally believe that an intergenerational mixed approach is more appropriate. As you have said, Comrade Faiez, that we need to also grow, we need to be groomed. And it's been so nice that I think that to have people who are assisting you. So for me, it's been very nice because I've had help. I've had older people who have more insight, who've been assisting me. And it's also been nice because I'm engaging with my constituency and my peers within the student area. Thank you.
Thank you. Insaaf? Insaaf? Your views?
I think, Comrade Faiez, the ANC can proudly say in the Western Cape that intergenerational dialogue is a reality. I can safely say that I have been able to, without hesitation, call on and lean on the eldership within the movement for advice, for feedback, for support. And at any possible time, they would either make themselves personally available or refer me to people who can assist with the Ward 73 councillor candidate campaign. And the golden nuggets of wisdom that comrades have been so humble sharing has really been able to not just motivate one, but affirm you in the fact that the winds of change that we have been hearing about from President Cyril Ramaphosa is trickling down from national leadership all the way to grassroots level. So I just want to salute all of the comrades who are supporting the Young Lions to take forward the banner of the ANC, prioritize the issues of the community, and bring forward that energy that we bring with us, not just having learned from SASCO days, but also to be able to bring forth that glory days of the ANC as a reminder that there is succession planning within the ANC. There are young people who have been organically growing through the ranks, ready to take forward the banner of the ANC as caretakers of the community.
Thank you very much for that. So both of you are in areas and electorates which have not historically lent their support to the ANC. The president also announced our election manifesto. Welcome to the cat there, Busisiwe. Just talk me through your sense of the historic moment that we have, the sense of how will you approach your ward, given that we're asking them, and the president made it very clear in his election manifesto. And also give me some of your take-homes from the election manifesto. What are the key things that you want the electorate to know about you, and why should they trust you? Busisiwe, let's go with you first.
Thank you very much, Comrade Faiez. So the electorate should trust me because I've got a good track record generally in student governance. As I've mentioned earlier on, that I've done 2 terms in SRC and I've done 2 terms in BEC. And we were able, even on a smaller scale on an SRC, to achieve such great things. Like, for example, at DCT, one of the last projects and campaigns that we had under SASCO-led SRC was the issue of students having finances. We were able to raise millions of rands through the campaign that we'd run to assist students in getting them to bail out, because historical debt is something that is very challenging for students. It stops them from being able to register in the next year, and through SASCO, we've been able to assist students. So I think that now getting onto a council, we're going to be able to assist on a bigger level, because in provinces and in government, there are policies and plans, and having young representation means, and having myself and other comrades who are young within in the council also then assist to bring in the youth voice, because a lot of the time youth feel like they're not heard or they aren't given the space. So by having representatives like us, myself and Comrade Insaaf and everyone else who's young in these councils is going to then assist to get the information from the top to the down. Thank you.
Thank you. Insaaf?
Thank you, Comrade Faiez. Echoing Comrade Busisiwe's statements, I think what I bring to the table is resilience. I hail from humble beginnings, having grown up in the Seawinds Lavendale area. And throughout my life, I've had to focus on, I relentlessly focus on striving towards resolving problems. And over time, besides the personal accomplishments that I've made, I think I can be trusted because I see things through. In terms of my personal record, I've seen through 2 qualifications at the University of Cape Town. I hold a BCom in Information Systems and a BCom Honours in Information Systems, and preparing to register for my Masters in Information Systems, inshallah. Beyond that, as a student leader, I've been able to facilitate policy reformation at the University of Cape Town, particularly around the admissions policy, to ensure that the considerations made are as inclusive as possible, to ensure that as many people who come from disenfranchised backgrounds are able to access quality world-class education right here in the city of Cape Town. Beyond that, I've also been able to facilitate infrastructural reformations. For example, the 24-hour study space at the University of Cape Town is a product of the SASCO lobby, a SASCO lobby that I led as the president of the SRC. In addition to that, mental health is extremely important to me. And one of the other accomplishments was a successful lobby for a free upper campus clinic that students can walk into, do a quick check-in on, and get on with their life. And that's the kind of service that I'm going to bring to the table as a councillor candidate for Ward 73 and in representing the ANC. is listening to your issues genuinely, finding a decisive solution, and making sure that accessing the service that you need is a convenient thing. And I think underpinning all of this, Comrade Faiez, is the principles of Batopile. It's the idea of being transparent in the way that you work. It's about making sure that you are listening earnestly to the issues of the community. It's ensuring that there is consistency in the standards of service delivery across the various voting districts that comprise a ward, and not find a situation where one voting district that might happen to be more affluent and well-resourced becomes a priority at the expense of our so-called working class voting districts. And so my intention deliberately is to ensure that there's validity, accuracy, and completeness in taking on issues and seeing through issues during this 2021 local government elections.
I want to come back to that point about Cape Townians and the city being very unequal, and a city that doesn't care for everybody. No, comrades, you must keep your mic, keep your videos on. If there's bandwidth problems, then it's fine. But ideally, we'd want to see you. Talk to me about, we as the ANC has this notion of a non-racial, non-sexist, inclusive and prosperous South Africa. That's our NDR goal. And your wards is a cosmopolitan of that. And the ANC hasn't been successful in keeping the broad church and inviting and bringing everybody together. How are you, as a representative of your generation, going to ensure that we do serve all Cape Townians in your ward and electorate, but also more importantly, prioritize and deal with the legacies of apartheid and spatial inequality in our town? Comrade Busisiwe?
Thank you very much for your question. Yes, indeed, the city of Cape Town is very unequal. And I think, looking at the Gabby-Shapiro branch, the branch that I come from, also then is a bit of a change. We have a mix of young people, we have old people, we have a very mixed branch in terms of race. And the Gabby-Shapiro branch really embodies that true non-racialism and non-sexism. We have members of the LGBTI community. I think, having that background coming from Gabby-Shapiro, we're going to be able to then put that onto the city on a larger scale. And as I said before in my manifesto, my pledge, some of the plans is about ensuring that the policies and plans of this city work for all people and not just a few. Thank you.
Insaaf? Comrade Insaaf?
Comrade Faiez, what we're doing in the Ward 73 area is showcasing that we are willing to embrace the culture of the area. So the campaign trail has been exercising on a Saturday morning in the park. We've been knocking on doors to listen to the issues and indicate to residents that there is a C3 portal I promoted at UCT some years ago, around 2011, called Comment, Compliment, and Criticize. And what many residents don't know is that the city of Cape Town very seriously takes into consideration the issues that are logged on that portal. It's something that you can access online. It's something that you can register your issues on. It's as simple as updating a Facebook status. And when the ward councillor plans in terms of their priorities and where budget is allocated, the city of Cape Town looks at what is logged on that portal. And unfortunately, many people don't know about this. So, I think what one is bringing to the table as someone who is youthful is also bringing forward an understanding of the online space, which most residents are completely unfamiliar with. We take it for granted that if someone has a smartphone, they know where to find information. It's a wrong assumption to make. And I think comrades have been doing their level best, not just to identify the shortcomings in the many DA-led wards across the city of Cape Town, the inconsistency in the service delivery, and the absolutely flippant disregard in service delivery towards individuals who are trying to access information in order to get support, is to refer them to those channels so that they don't need to feel that the ward councillor candidate is the only channel through which they can raise the issues and have their voices heard.
Thank you very much for that. The city just recently passed some very controversial bylaws in this last council meeting, which makes it almost illegal to be homeless, criminalizing the poor, and also has this notion of noise disturbance where call to praise the adhan in the Muslim and the bells and the ringing of the church. I mean, what does that level of intolerance signify, given that all opposition parties expressed their opposition towards these bylaws, and that level of pettiness, as opposed to dealing with the real issue. So the real issues that spatial inequality still exists in the city of Cape Town. They haven't done anything to our more than 200 informal settlements in our city. We have a huge backlog of backyarders that hasn't been attended to. Ideologically, your views on the city, and with all of these disparities, the DA seems to still be that level of arrogance that because they're the majority, they can push through that. Just give me your comments on those, the contemporary issues in our areas, Busisiwe.
Thanks for that. So I mean, the city of Cape Town generally is unequal, as you've mentioned, and the DA only caters in the white areas, and I think that having ourselves as young representatives, we're going to be able to firstly listen to the people and their needs and be able to channel it out and bring it through into the council. And the recent law that they passed, I think it is wrong, and more people should speak out about it. And as you had said, it's because they enjoy the hegemony and they have a sense of arrogance. It shouldn't be, and it's not correct. I think that by starting by calling it out, maybe in forms of statements, is a first call. I know that in our branch, we had spoken about it in terms of to follow up, because I don't think it's correct that it happened. I think if more people complain, and also another thing is that I don't think people are also aware of it. So we need to make people aware of what happened recently, and we also then need to complain and talk to the city of council. Thank you.
Insaaf?
Thank you, Comrade Faiez. This issue is very dear to my heart as I identify as Muslim. And in the Muslim community, there is a peaceful call to prayer that is oftentimes projected via some kind of a loud hailer in the community. And it's paradoxical that a symbol of peace is being problematized by the city of Cape Town, where there is an active attempt to invite people of the community to be responsible citizens, be spiritually revived, be spiritually inspired, to be agents of mass construction in the community. And that these spaces are now being vilified as spaces that cannot announce the call to prayer, that cannot announce that invitation to listen to a positive message, a message of affirmation in spaces where there is multiracialism. The haves and the have-nots go there. It's an equal playing field for people to be able to connect with one another on a humanitarian level. It is utterly disgusting that the city of Cape Town is vilifying places of worship, and a simple call, a ringing of a bell, saying to someone and the pronouncement of a peaceful call to prayer as an excuse to try and manage the expectations of people who buy holiday homes here, who are here for a few weeks in a year, and to accommodate those people at the expense of the rich culture and the history that has made the city of Cape Town great. I find it appalling, absolutely appalling, that the arrogance of the Democratic Alliance in the council chambers has given them the impression that they can disregard the majority in the city of Cape Town, vilifying places of worship that is located in areas where the office of worship that has been providing food, places that has been providing assistance to victims of gender-based violence, who, by the way, I challenge anyone in the city of Cape Town and elsewhere, just search mental health support, GBV survivor. You will struggle to find cost-free support. And how dare the city of Cape Town, with its DA-led leadership, vilify these places of support to people who oftentimes live in areas completely disenfranchised from the economics of the country. I am disappointed and disbelieve if I'm making it into council. I'm going to decisively remind every council member that we should never, ever, ever have the arrogance to plan against the will of the people. It's foolish, it's counterproductive, and it is just a flippant slap in the face.
Look, I think this thing about the DA not listening and is not representing the will of all Cape Townians is a big theme that comes through. The them and us, the othering, this thing of how do they deal with poor, criminalizing the poor, how do they deal with issues of drugs, mental health, GBV, sexual orientation. All of those things are issues that certainly the city is not seeing. It's not being this inclusive that Comrade Busisiwe was talking about. And as young people, how do you represent that broad sense of all Cape Townians? What will your ethos be? What will your focus be? What will your approach be? To say that I might be this person, but I am broad enough. I am accommodative enough to ensure that all of our people see themselves in me. Busisiwe?
Thank you for that question. So in my manifesto and pledge, one of the things that I speak about is about having a vision with action and a change in the city. And I have a three-pronged approach in terms of what I'm going to do. It's about honest service, the restoration of dignity, and effective leadership. Those are the three plans and principles that are key that are going to be guiding me in terms of if I make it into council. Thank you.
Insaaf?
I'm going to lean on my caps here. I'm going to apply a very simple approach. Ek gaan lekker deurkom. I'm going to come through nicely. I'm going to be pragmatic in my approach. I will be honest with my constituents and acknowledge the scope of my limitations, but in doing so, take on the commitment to refer the issue to whoever is on the payroll of the city of Cape Town. I am committed to ensuring that if you are receiving taxpayers' money to reproduce yourself, you will not escape the voice of the young lions of the ANC and reproduce yourself while the people who you are meant to be servicing are without service delivery. It's unethical. We are not going to tolerate it. Because as members of SASCO, as products of the South African Congress of Students, we know very well we are members of our community before we are anything else. And that is the spirit we are going to be taking forward in this local government elections. And even if the will of the people decides not in our favor in our wards, we are not going to remain silent. We are going to mobilize around these issues. We are going to share the information. We're going to continue knocking on doors and letting members of the community register the issues on that C3 portal so that there can be no escape from the winds of change of the ANC. No longer are we going to lie on our side, on our backs, or feel excluded from the bureaucracy of the city of Cape Town. President Cyril Ramaphosa warned everyone to say that we are cleaning up the ANC. He wasn't lying. There are two candidates in the presence of a member of parliament today who is saying that we are coming. We are coming in the name of progress. We are coming in the name of integrity. We are coming for every fallen leader who has passed on and has groomed us to ensure that the voices of the disenfranchised will not be heard. We will ensure that we fight with respect. We will speak decisively. We will do the research and we will humble ourselves in this campaign and after this campaign to assure the citizens of the city of Cape Town that the time for change within the ANC is upon us. Believe it, comrades. And if you don't believe it, watch us. We will prove the impressions that you have had of the ANC wrong in our actions, not just in the things that we say.
Well said, comrades. I really I'm moved by your inputs on this, and also the sense of being there for people, the sense of driving this agenda and making people believe. You see, I went on a show and people were saying, yeah, but the ANC doesn't, I don't see myself in the ANC. And the people have fallen out of love of the ANC. And the ANC has left our people. And the two of you and the new generation of leaders does represent that, an ability to say, we want to fall in love with our people again as the African National Congress. And we want to ensure that that people's contract is coming through, that sense of hope and renewal that the president is bringing through. So I feel that other people may not feel it yet. And I think through your actions, through your work, through your activities, we will demonstrate that level of comfort. So I think the question I want to ask is, how? What are you doing in the campaign? I think there's a few days left, 40, sorry, not even 40, less than 30 days left. I think it's 28 or 29, I must be corrected. What in this next few days that you as candidates, both as PR and as board candidates, will try to at least get young people to identify with yourself, but more importantly, let elder people or people that have historically not chosen you or the ANC to say, hey, let me wake up and listen. What are you going to do differently? Or what are you doing? Let me ask that question. Let me start with you, Insaaf. Insaaf?
Thank you, Comrade Faiez. To accommodate the senior citizens in the Ward 73 area, am I audible, Comrade?
Yes, go ahead, we can hear you.
We are hosting movie screenings on a Friday evening at Auntie Mavis's house out in Deep River. And between that, we're doing door-to-door campaigns to make a register of the issues, particularly the issues that don't find its way onto the C3 portal. So we're doing our level best to populate that platform. And then for the youth to look forward to is a soccer tournament on the last Saturday of October. We want to demonstrate to the residents in Ward 73, and more broadly speaking, that there is planning and implementation capacity within the ward councillor candidates. So we're hosting a five-a-side football tournament in the Ward 73 area. People can follow the campaign trail. ANC ward councillor candidate Isaacs, for more information about that, slide into our DMs. We'll forward you the registration link. All proceeds will go to, we want to show that you can have fun with the ANC, that you can come and cheer for your loved ones, brought to you in a safe, secure, loving environment by the ANC. And besides the football tournament that people can look forward to, every Saturday morning between 11 and 12 p.m., 11 a.m. and 12 p.m., we'll be exercising in the parks as comrades to show that we do also want to be healthy, active, and imbibe the culture of the community.
Thank you. Busisiwe?
Thank you very much. So I want to speak about what we have done first and not seem like we're only now doing things during election. So being a member of the Gabby Shapiro branch, some of the things that we have done is assisting with the land expropriation bill, where we've even got it to a point where it was tabled onto Parliament. We also have then written down our amendments to it. Some of the things we've also done is about making public comments to the hate crimes and hate speech bill. We've also had sessions with the Deputy Minister, John Jeffrey. We've made amendments, about 3 pages of amendments to this bill. We're working with other LGBTIQ+ NGOs who are, through a strategic partnership, who are assisting us. And currently right now, the things that we have planned for the rest of the month is that this evening we'll be on Twitter speaking about young women and in leadership. On Monday, we'll be joining young people at the Robben Island Spring School, talking to them. And on Tuesday, we'll also go onto the island to assist them as they have their spring school. Throughout every Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be in public spaces listening to the people. We even have canvassing cards where we can write down people's informations and do follow up. So we're showing you that we're not just going out there to listen to people for no reason. We listen to them, we take down their phone number and we follow up. This is part of the renewal, and having myself and Comrade Insaaf who are young will bring about change. Yes, it's true that people may have their personal feelings about the ANC, but really this election has shown us that the ANC is about an intergenerational mix, about the restoration of dignity and honest service.
I want to come back to this point about this honest service and the new generation that is coming through in the organization. This pledge, the pledge that the president spoke about, and I know you also are developing your individual pledge. What is that pledge about? I mean, why is it important that we contract with our electorate and make this pledge to our people? Insaaf?
Thank you, Comrade Faiez. I think we need to commit to this pledge so that people can see that we aren't just electioneering agents, that we are pledging our commitment as human beings to restoring and maintaining the dignity of the people wherever they might live. Whether you're living in a middle-class area, whether you're living in a so-called working class area, that your dignity is a priority to us. And the pledge essentially as an underlying theme speaks to various aspects of maintaining that dignity. Being fair in at listening to consistency in service delivery issues that Comrade Busisiwe had spoken about, and she's correct in saying that. The pledge also speaks about the principles of Batopile, making sure that there's validity, accuracy, and completeness in the information that is collected, so that when follow-up is done, follow-up can be done in a pragmatic way and resolve the issues so that we don't find ourselves in a continuous, never-ending loop, trying to understand what the nuances of the issues are instead of focusing on resolving what those issues are. And so I do encourage everyone who's watching to engage with that manifesto and to challenge the ward councillor candidate and ask, in the context of the ward in which you are contesting, how are you going to go about demonstrating that honesty? How are you going to go about demonstrating that unwavering commitment to the community? And so I do think that sometimes less is more, and that simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication. So knocking on doors absolutely matters. Being at the busy intersections during peak time absolutely matters. Engaging with residents, leveraging the online around absolutely matters. And so those are the kinds of simple, low-cost activities that councillor candidates are doing, have been doing, and will continue to do, so that the city of Cape Town can hear the voices of everyone and ensure that in its prioritization of its community plans, that the issues that are registered with comrades are taken into consideration, and so that the budget of the city of Cape Town more accurately reflects the will of its people.
Okay. Busisiwe, your pledge?
My pledge, so generally the pledge is that, as I said, it's about restoration of dignity, it's about effective leadership, and it's about honest service. Some of the things that I've said is about ensuring that the access to information is something that is not well known. So what we're trying to do is to bring about what's happening in the city's councils and policies and plans down to the people, because what tends to happen is that the information that is available isn't accessible to anyone. So some of the things that I want to do is bring that information to people. There's a lot of things that people should know and it isn't known. So by bringing those kinds of things, it's very important. And as I said, it's about safety and security. I do live in an area where it's very populated with students, and safety and security is one of the key issues. Students are always around the area when they want to go study, they come back home from the library. Safety is very, very key in this area. As I'd said before, ensuring that in the policies and plans, so prior to what has been done, that the young people's voice are included in those policies, so that the city's policies and plans then meet the need of all people and not just a few individuals.
I want to come to you and say, if I want to get involved in your campaign, How do I reach out to you? How do you get that sense of involvement in our constituency, both of you? How do I get involved in both of your campaigns? Busisiwe, let's start with you.
So you can also, first you can follow us on social media. You can either message the Gabby Shapiro branch. We do have a Twitter page and we also do have a Facebook page. Alternatively, my name is Busisiwe Nxumalo and all my social media have the same name. You can send a message. We also have a lot of WhatsApp groups where we keep in track in terms of our election work. That is where you'll know the bits of the information of where we are day by day. And you can also then join in the plan. We have a whole entire month plan. As I said, Saturdays and Sundays, we're blitzing in community areas. And then during the week, we're going to be on social media. We're going to be on Twitter Spaces. We're going to be on Instagram Live, and we're going to be in online platforms.
Insaaf, how do we get involved in your campaign?
Thank you, Comrade Faiez. If you're seeing me in my turban, campaigning with a South African flag, you're more than welcome to approach me in person and find out. Otherwise, you're welcome to follow the campaign trail on Facebook. It's ANC Councillor Candidate Ward 73-Isaacs. Like the page, send us a message, and we'll be more than happy to oblige. We've been very thankful to the residents of Ward 73 who have been quite welcoming to the winds of change of the ANC, particularly for my candidacy in the area. So please feel free to like the Facebook page. It's our primary form of campaign trail. Feel free to approach us. I'm generally in my shades because I don't want my eyes to burn, but don't be put off if you see me in shades. By all means, please approach us. You'll see us on Wednesdays after 5 or around 5 p.m. at the busy intersections around the Meadow Ridge, Deep River, Plumstead areas. On a Saturday morning, you'll find us in the parks. On a Saturday afternoon, you'll find us either at your local mall or doing door-to-door campaigns. And on a Friday evening, you're more than welcome to come and chill with us and do some watching of movies that remind us of how different things were during the apartheid regime. And all of these activities are cost-free. Please follow the campaign trail on Facebook so that you can know where we will be next. We generally promote our activities on a week-to-week basis, but remember, ballot 1, vote ANC. Ballot 2, vote ANC as well. And thank you so much for the opportunity, Comrade Faiez, and your organizer, Aisha, has been phenomenal.
Comrade Insaaf, I was going to give you your last 2 minutes. I think you're jumping the gun. So let's start with you. If I am an undecided voter, why must I vote for you? I'm giving you 2 minutes to do your pitch. Go for it.
I'd say you need to vote for Insaaf Isaacs because Insaaf Isaacs is a pragmatist. Insaaf Isaacs is your candidate that will be realistic in her planning, will be earnest in her communication, and will ensure that the information that Insaaf is using to prioritize your issues is valid, is accurate, and is complete. Insaaf won't just touch your area once. There will be a follow-up interaction to ensure that the last time we spoke, you raised an issue. The next time you see me, there will be a response in terms of what had been done since the last time we met. I am a person who understands the idea of imbibing the culture of an area and appreciating and respecting the will of the people. And this is what I will be demonstrating during the elections campaign. I'll be doing the things that people in the Ward 73 area love to do. I love to read, and we'll be visiting the libraries. I appreciate the healthy, active lifestyle, so I'll be working out. And obviously, as your councillor candidate, the campaign will include extensive consultations and also information sharing so that beyond the campaign, you will know where to register your issues and have your voice heard.
Insaaf, Busisiwe.
Thank you very much. A vote for me truly represents a non-racial and non-sexist organization as the ANC is. As I've said before, I have a three-pronged approach to my pledge. It's about honest service, it's about the restoration of dignity, and it's about effective leadership. I am going to ensure that for every issue that is brought up, I am going to make a follow-up. I'm not going to just listen. We're going to have, as we've been going around and campaigning, we do have canvassing cards where we write down people's information, or we take down their contact details and do follow up. So a vote for me truly does represent the branch that I come from, of being a truly non-racial and non-sexist organization. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. That was the program for today. We want to thank the executive producer, Aisha Abrams, for producing the show. Tomorrow we'll go a bit to the rural areas. So tomorrow we will get young people voices from the West Coast. So please tune in tomorrow at lunchtime again. And I want to thank the two participants. You've been absolutely great. Thanks for making time. And I would also, if you stay in those areas, Ward 73, Ward 58 and 59, please give our young people a chance. They are vibrant, they are committed, and more importantly, they will serve our people and they will represent the renewal, the hope that our president is talking about. And they are our foot soldiers for our community, and to ensure that our people fall back in love with the ANC and ensure that the ANC be the choice of our people. So thank you very much for everybody. It's been a pleasure to host this interview session again, and we look forward to your ideas. So please, in the inbox or DM direct message, please let us know any new ideas on the show. The show will be running till the end of the elections. Every lunchtime, we will try to cover as much as possible candidates so that you can make an informed decision and you can indeed see that the ANC is on the path of renewal. The ANC is the only broad organization that does represent the aspirations, the will, and the capabilities of all our people, South Africans, and indeed our city, Cape Townians, and we need that change in the city of Cape Town. Thank you very much. We'll sign off. Amandla.
Away too. Thank you very much so much, Faiez, for the session.
Thank you very much, guys.
Also, this afternoon, Gabby Shapiro is going to be blitzing in the Rosebank area, so do join if you want to come. And later on, we're going to be on Twitter Spaces with the Young Women's Desk. Thank you.
Thanks, Desert. Please, if you're around, and Insaaf is also doing a drive-by. Insaaf, just the checkpoints for those.
Yes, we're meeting at Norman Inshelwood at 3 p.m. this afternoon for a peaceful drive-through of the Ward 73 area. So please pull through in the name of unity to demonstrate that the ANC, in fact, is a broad church, and that as people are enjoying their braais, they can see a beautiful carcade of cars passing through. It won't be more than an hour, so if you can your favorite, appreciate it.
Where are we linking up in Rosebank?
We're going to be we're first going to meet up here in Newlands area with everyone else, and then what we're going to do is going to be along the main road. So the Rosebank area is just bypass the Baxter Theatre, just near the UCT Lower Campus area. We're going to be all across that this afternoon.
Okay, thank you very much.